Hello, everybody, wherever you may be, from coast to coast, to sea to shining sea. Welcome back to the Shack. It's Ham Radio Live. Woohoo! We got a show for you today. We're going to take a look at one of the top radio receivers currently on the market. Absolutely, you may not have heard of it. We're also going to take a look at something that's a very niche market in ham radio, but it's important. It's off of a letter received from our email address about ham radio Maritime Mobile. And I don't mean mobile to mobile, ship to ship. I'm talking about really making SSB calls and working the world. And away we go. Hello, everybody, wherever you may be. My name's Larry. My call sign's Kilo 7 Hotel November. Whole passion here is to help you get in amateur radio. I want to wish all of you a very happy Thursday. It's 9th of September, 2021. And it still feels like summer here. It's a great day. Just a beautiful day here in the Pacific Northwest. Grateful to have that. And we're kind of making some decisions as to our future. If we're staying in Oregon or moving possibly to Arizona or Minnesota to get Bob some specialty care from the Mayo Clinic. We'll see how that goes. First of all, some welcomes in the house to my mates that came. Thanks for coming this Thursday. Mike is first in the house. Jacksonville, welcome. Hey, Mike, good to see you. Kilo Delta 2 Sierra X-Ray Delta. He is first. Congratulations. Andy Cowley, my mate in UK. 2 Echo 0, Romeo Echo Echo. Thank you, Andy. It's always my pleasure to see you every day. Thanks for being here. My Bob. Okay. My brother Bob, courtesy of WIFI. Thank you, Bob, for coming here. Appreciate you all being here. Thank you so much. Hello to you as well, Mike. It's an honor, brother. Seriously. Alex Alonso, great to see some good vibes coming. And boy, we can always use those. Thanks a lot for all of that. Our whole purpose here is to help you get an amateur radio. And by the way, 7610 is coming 3 days early. That means it'll be here tomorrow. Maybe by showtime. We'll see. Can't believe it. My gosh, it should be somewhere around Idaho now. They actually took the northern route from Texas again through Colorado. So I expect it's probably East Oregon right now, headed towards us. Grateful to have that. Whole purpose of this channel is to help you get into ham radio. A lot of people don't know how to do it. And the best way to do it is get a hold of a national radio club, even if it's not in your continent. They're experienced at helping people connect with the radio club near them. One of them is the American Radio Relay League. You can find them at www.arrl.org. Hit the contact us bar. Same with the Radio Society of Great Britain at www.rsgb.org. Great YouTube channel there and some really good shows on Monday that give you some updates of what's going on in ham radio. Good channel. Radio Amateurs of Canada also available at www.rac.ca. In Japan, the Japan Amateur Radio League at www.jarl.org. In Australia, where spring is on the way, although it's typically nice and warm there, contact the Wireless Institute of Australia at www.wia.org. Email the show. That's how this show came today. It really did. This show is courtesy of Kevin, call sign Kilo 6 Yankee Bravo Tango, out of Bakersfield, California. This show is his, truly is, because he hit us up on our the email address and asked a very specific question about Maritime Mobile working from a sailboat. We're going to do a show on that today. Hope you like it. If you'd like to help the channel with our mission to help people not only get into ham radio, but also improve in it, you can do so 2 ways. We have the PayPal address down below there at proverbs356@me.com. We also have a Patreon page at Ham Radio Live, and we appreciate your donations. We truly do. Welcome to the show today. It is a wonderful day to see you. Don't forget, the RSGB on the 9th of October will have a couple of speakers. Andrew Barron, Zulu Lima 3 Delta Whiskey. First time I did it right. Going to present an entertaining talk about SDRs, and following him, Ray Novak, November 9 Juliet Alpha. Ray is one of the senior sales managers there at Icom North America. Going to be doing a show on how to do a de-expedition that won't break the bank. And Ray's going to also be coming back to Ham Radio Live to talk to you not only about those same de-expedition ideas, but also Icom radios. Should be fun. Also, new stuff on the news front here in ham radio. The Newbury children, now they're a deaf school. They're going to contact the International Space Station. Their teachers are going to be able to present the questions up to the space station. Astronauts will going to respond. and the teachers are going to use sign language to respond to each child. How awesome is that? It's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be coming up in October, the date yet to be announced. Remember, this weekend, Churches and Chapels on the Air will happen from 10 UTC until 1600. Make sure and try to work a church or chapel. Genesis ham satellites among payloads lost in launch failure. This is unfortunate. The Genesis L and Genesis N ham radio satellites were among several carrying amateur radio payloads that were lost following the failure of the Firefly Alpha rocket during its first launch on September 2nd from the Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. What happened was an anomaly occurred about 2 minutes into the mission, causing controllers to destroy the launcher in flight. The anomaly has yet to be explained. Spain had one up there. Multiple countries had ham radios up there, and it was just destroyed. It's too bad. Ham SCI founder, look at this, Nathaniel Frizzell, his call sign Whiskey 2, National Alpha Foxtrot. He's awarded $481,260 from a NASA research grant. How about that? I'll do a NASA research grant. Could I do that? I don't know. Anyway, he's the founder of National Radio Science Citizen Investigation. The assistant professor in the University of Scranton's Physics and Engineering Department has been awarded $481,260 grant through the NASA Space Weather Applications Operation Phase 2 Research Program. Say that 3 times in one breath. Man. Frizzell's going to serve as the principal investigator for a research project entitled Enabling Space Weather Research with Global Scale Amateur Radio Data Sets. This will be pretty cool. He's going to be working on this with Philip Erickson, call sign Whiskey 1 Papa Juliet Echo of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, so MIT. And they're going to be using the Haystack Observatory, plus Bill Engelke, call sign Alpha Bravo 4 Echo Juliet at the University of Alabama. So this is, a bunch of universities getting together to try and help us out with our space weather. Pretty cool. Louisiana Aries returning to normal status in storm-affected parishes. Parishes in Louisiana are counties. We think of them as counties in many states, but in Louisiana, they call them parishes. So, Louisiana Aries Section Administrator Coordinator James Coleman, in his call sign is Alpha India 5 Bravo, said this week that the Amateur Radio Emergency Service, ARES, teams in his section should now be on normal status, with the affected parishes' status as appropriate for local conditions. More than 30 parishes were infected by Hurricane Ida, although cell phone, tower outages in the affected area stood at 3.7% as of September 8th and recovering rapidly. All 911 systems were reported operational as of September 8th. So that's great news. Finally, in the ARRL, the FCC extends filing deadlines for affected Louisiana parishes and Mississippi counties. In the wake of the disruption caused after Hurricane Ida struck in the Gulf Coast of the U.S. as a Cat 4 storm on Sunday, August 29th, the FCC has announced it's extending certain filing deadlines for those in Louisiana and Mississippi who are unable to meet them due to the storm. The president, issued an emergency declaration for Mississippi on August 28th and a major disaster declaration for Louisiana on August 29th, and I doubt that he forgets that. Cuba today, only 2 frequencies. There's only 2. They're just jamming over at 7.158 and 7.216. Both are 25 kilohertz of splatter, and both sound like this. It's brilliant. Nice, right? That's what happens when you let Cuba play. But here's the deal, right? Okay, so ham radio operators are the most ingenious people in the world. You think they're going to move to a different mode of transportation? Think about it. CW, JT65. There's lots of ways we can communicate and get the word out. So if you want to keep on jamming 40 meters, it's not appropriate, it's not good, and it hurts all of us. But it's not about helping people anyway. Is it, Cuba? Really? Just saying. Anyway, let's welcome some folks here. Gotten a little political, and that's okay, because sometimes you just have to say what's right. What Cuba's done to 40 meters since July 11th is ridiculous. Martin, Pop Echo 9 Tango India Golf, a big howdy and welcome to you from Holland today. Thank you for coming. Whiskey 3 mile per gallon from Pennsylvania is in the house. Thanks for coming. Goodness gracious, good house today. VK Radioham, our third continent, is in the house from down and under. Thank you for coming, mate. Good to see you. My gosh, I think we got a real good day. Look at this, Martin. VK in the house, mate. Also, hey, brand new. This is great. Welcome to Ham Radio Live. Kilo 4, Lima Echo November Radio. Good evening. Good evening to you, too. Thank you for making it to the channel. Gosh, what a treat it is to have you today. This will be a fun show. I'm looking forward to presenting it. This is going to talk about a couple of different Icom rigs, and we have never done that. You realize that? We've never done that. One's going to talk about a receiver that's really highly ranked on Sherwood. The other one's going to talk about an answer to a question that was posed to me on our email address at CQ Ham Radio Live by Kevin out of Bakersfield, California. Call sign Kilo 6 Yankee Bravo Tango. Let's first get to the trivia question of today. Currently, boy, oh boy, you guys are just right neck and neck. Europe with 6.5, North America has 6, and Australia is in there. They got 1. Okay, so 6.5, 6, and 1. Today's question. The EF Johnson Viking 2 transmitter did not have which of the following features? Was it A, 160 through 10 meter operation? Was it B, 807 modulator tubes in push-pull configuration? Was it C, an external power supply? Or was it D, 180 watts of input power? This is a tough one. Again, EF Johnson Viking 2 transmitter. One of these 4 was not part of that transmitter, right? Good luck to you today. A, B, C, or D is the way to go. And we got an answer already. First one in. He answered yesterday. Whiskey 3 miles per gallon. That's my buddy Rod, all the way in Pennsylvania. He answered C, and he got it right. Oh, man. North America retakes the lead at 7 to 6.5. Yeah, the EF Johnson Viking transmitter, it was 160 through 10. It did have 807 modulator tubes in push-pull configuration, and it did have 180 watts of input power. No joke. Let me tell you a little about it, okay, because this is a neat story. It really is. The Viking 2 was something that came out in the 50s, all right? It did 160 to 10. It was 135 watts of AM output. Remember, AM was the thing, not sideband back then. 180 watts on CW, all right? It had an internal power supply. That's why C is the answer. Final tubes were 2 EA60 146 parallel modulators, 807s. Price, $279.50. Okay, if you bought the kit. If you bought already built, it was $336.50. And it was produced from 1952 to 1957 and weighed about 7 pounds. So congratulations to Rod. Whiskey 3 miles per gallon. Rod Bish getting it right. And that's a tough question. Congratulations. Also a bit dry today, man. That's a little bit dry. All right, let's get going here with today's show. I'm excited to be here. By the way, Will Myers, welcome from Wisconsin. Will's coming from Kilo Alpha 8 Golf India. Mike, welcome to the channel. Welcome. So Rod got C. Mike just missed it. Andy just missed it. Alex, see, it was a tough question today. It really was. And Mike out of Jacksonville congratulates Rod. Kilo Delta 2, Sierra X-Ray Delta, with some high fives to Rod in Pennsylvania. Congratulations. That's a great one. Our forecast today, sponsored by Icom. It's powered by Icom. Icom for the love of ham and shortwave. We're going to talk about why the shortwave part coming up. A1A. It doesn't look too bad. You can actually see the brilliance of some of these solar eruptions. Look at this. Take a good look at the southern part of the sun. It looks beautiful. Solar flares don't quite show it as well as the A1A. See the A1A, you see a little bit more of the 3D look of the solar flares than this one here. But take a look at your K-index. Got one M-class flare that hit yesterday, 20% chance of another one today. That keeps juicing up the atmosphere. MUF 4 hours ago. So this helps with the forecast. Alaska was at 9.35. Okay. Boulder, 23.09. Brazil at 17.98. Ascension Island, 25.89. Hermanus, South Africa, 20.66. Athens, Greece was topping out at 20.61. And Darwin, Australia, in the middle of the night, 14.7. Current MUFs around the world. Alaska with a 15.11. Boulder, 18.55. Out of Brazil, 17.98. So look how Boulder has dropped since earlier today. Isn't that something? Yep. Athens, Greece is at 14.94. Ascension Island still at 20.05. Hermanus, South Africa, 10.15. And Darwin, Australia, just getting ready to see sunrise right now at 8.49. Current conditions out of Boulder, Colorado. Third straight day of an SFI of 100. So it's a third day of triple digits. This is great. Solar number is 87. So it's up 2 from yesterday. Index a little high at 14. Your K is 1, which is brilliant. That's very, very quiet conditions. A little bit concerning on your aurora latitude at 67.5 degrees. That's not good. Your negative BZ of 0.09 is kind of cautionary. But the solar wind is not fast. That's a good thing. Solar wind is down to 371.9 kilometers per second. Moon bouncers have a good chance to work tonight. Very small crescent moon. Have you seen it? Very, very, very small. But EME works great for Earth, Moon, Earth communications tonight. Your HF conditions are shown there. I agree. I don't think they're too far off. Let's take a look at the forecast today. Powered by Icom. Icom for the love of ham and shortwave radio. Daytime handbands, Northern Hemisphere, should get 20, 17, 15, and possible 12. We have seen 12 meters in the north. I think it could work here for the rest of the day. Equatorial latitudes, you'll get 20, 17, 15, 12, and 10. Southern Hemisphere today, 20, 17, 15, possible 12 meters. Data will work 30 to 10. Nighttime handbands will be 160, 80, 75, 60, 40, 30, and the best DX of the day on right about sunset. 20-meter band. It'll work you a little bit after sunset, maybe an hour, hour and a half, but you'll hear some amazing calls. Shortwave bands, 31, 25, 22, and 19. And their shortwave bands tonight, 120, 90, 75, 60, 49, 30, 41, 31, 25, 22, and a great 100% chance of 19 meters till about an hour after sunset. We always talk about, I say ICOM for the love of ham and shortwave radio. Now, their tagline, honestly, it is for the love of ham radio. Well, I think they got a little bit of love for shortwave too. And many of us started as shortwave listeners. Let's take a look at the R8600. Here's Sherwood. You see the Yaesu FTDX 101 Delta at the top. Next, the Flex Radio 6700. Next, the twin to the 101, Baby 101, the Yaesu FTDX 10. Next comes the Icom R8600. That's a receiver, not a transceiver. Receiver. But look at the numbers there. They're fantastic. They're absolutely brilliant. That's why I always say, for the love of ham and shortwave. Let's take a look at the 8600 receiver from Icom. You may not have ever seen it before, but it's one of the best receivers there is in the world. And if you've got already a great transceiver, maybe you've got a really good antenna to transmit from, but you have this receiver with it, imagine what you can do. Or if you're a shortwave listener, imagine what you can do with something like this.
My name's Eric. I'm KC8XJ, and I'm with Universal Radio, and today we're excited to bring you an in-depth look at Icom's new wideband receiver, the Icom R8600. This receiver made its debut at the Tokyo Ham Fair in 2016. They were showing the prototype there. It came on the market in the middle of the summer here in 2017, and this receiver brings forth some of the most advanced technology in receivers. It has receive starting from 10 kilohertz in long wave, going all the way up to 3 gigahertz. As you can see here, it runs a live spectrum scope, and the scope can be active all the way across its frequency range. This radio uses a hybrid of technologies for its receiver. For the shortwave side of the radio, up to 30 megahertz, it uses SDR technology, software-defined receivers. Above 30 megahertz, it uses typical conversion type circuitry found in other receivers. That still works very well with the digital sampling circuit in this radio so that it can have scope imagery over its entire coverage. That's a very unique feature, especially in radios going up as high as 3 gigahertz. There's a variety of modes that this receiver is capable of receiving. For analog modes, it can receive AM, FM, FM wide, upper and lower sideband for single sideband, and also a dedicated mode for CW. Another interesting feature is that this radio is capable of decoding several digital modes right out of the box. And as of now, it's capable of doing RTTY, Icom's digital mode D-Star, NextDen, a mode DPMR, DCR, and APCO 25. All of those digital protocols out of the box are able to be decoded by this receiver so that you can monitor that audio. Combine that with an IQ out so you can pull that SDR digital stream and the scope imagery out to use with software. The radio is capable of being hooked up directly to a network, and with Icom software, you can actually control this radio over a network without even having it hooked up to a computer. This radio does come with a DC cord. It's around 9 feet long, typical positive and negative red and black cord. If you have your own power supply and you want to hook this up to it, you're going to need something of around the 4 amp range to run this receiver. Now, Icom also makes a couple other power supplies. They have a smaller standalone power supply called the AD55NS, and that's a very basic supply designed specifically to run this receiver. And another option that I have here, and this is a very, very nice setup, Icom makes a speaker that has a built-in power supply. This is called the SP39AD. It's one of the nicer options for this radio. An external speaker is aiming right at you, gives you a little bit richer sound, and then incorporated into this speaker is a built-in power supply. It has its audio cords and the DC cord coming right out of the back of the speaker and cleanly connects to the back of the receiver. You can see that this has a flip-down bail just like what's on the receiver, and the radio and speaker can be tilted and kept at the same angle. So a very nice, appealing look, great audio, and a lot of my customers have been very happy with this external speaker and power supply combo. Now we're going to take a close look at some of the features and how this radio operates. It does have an SD card slot right here. That SD card lets you back up and save your memories. It also lets you copy firmware files to update the radio. Icom can continually develop more features for this receiver and perhaps even more digital modes that this radio might be capable of decoding in the future. Of course, you can see the large tuning knob that's here on the side. It's got a very nice smooth feel. We'll go over here to dial A. Dial A typically controls your scan delays, and when you press and hold, briefly brings up your scan speed and your squelch settings. Dial B, when used, adjusts the audio in the radio, brings the volume up and down. Dial C, when turned, will control your memory channels in your VFO when you're tuning in memory mode. And when you press it, it brings up your passband tuning controls for your filters. If you press and hold on the filter on the screen, it brings up a view of your twin passband filters. And then you can use dial C here to adjust the skirt of each filter so you can effectively use this as an IF shift or narrowing the bandwidth of your filtering. If you want to change modes, you touch the mode on the screen, and then you have here available your different modes to set in. When you're working in other modes with digital, you can cycle through the different digital modes and then hit a back button to get out of the mode section. When you touch the megahertz position on the touch screen, it brings up a keypad. And then from here you can do direct frequency enter to go to any frequency that's within its range. And then to get out of this mode, you can go back and hit the back button again. To change your tuning step, you can touch and change what frequency range your tuning step is. So if you're tuning around, you can very quickly make changes to adjust your tuning step without having to get into a big menu system. When we look at the bottom of the screen underneath the spectrum scope, these are some of the functions to control your scope and what you're seeing. It can operate in both a center mode and a fixed mode. In center mode, the band scope's going to slide with you and always keep what you're receiving in the center of the scope display. In fixed mode, as you tune, a green line will move up and down over the spectrum showing where the receiver is at. You're also able to expand the scope mode to shrink the size of the VFO lettering and see even more spectrum scope on this. You're able to push hold and freeze a scope image. And you're actually able to capture screenshots of what you see on the scope and save that onto an SD card too. When you hit the span button, you've got a plus and minus button to change how wide and how narrow your scope is. Already you can see that the majority of the features are activated by the touchscreen. A lot of the optional things that you can do when you hit the function key right here, it gives you the options to change your antennas that you've got connected to it. You can adjust your automatic gain control. You can turn on a notch filter. You've got preamps and attenuators. It also has an optimal IP intercept, which is really good.
See how it's kind of similar to the way that the menus work on the 7300, 7610, 9700.
The other thing I want to mention is when you hit the menu button, things in this radio are broken up in very organized and logical groups. The settings menu, you can adjust your audio tone controls. A lot of your settings for being connected up to a computer. All these things are broken up in very organized groups. Even though it does so much, I think it is one of the easiest receivers to use.
Now, there you go. That is the R8600 made by Icom, number 4 on Sherwood's list. Now, okay, for new hams, not for people who are experienced, you'll know that this is right. Is it worth getting rid of, say, your 7300, right, to buy this receiver and buying a cheap transceiver? No, absolutely not. It wouldn't, because it's going to probably hear every signal that your 7300 is going to hear. Same with your 7610. Those are lower, much lower on Sherwood's list. ARL, same way. They value highly the Yaesu products, the Kenwood 590. In fact, I don't know if you know, but the Kenwood 590S is actually rated higher than the 890, which is weird. Anyway, but the point is, it's a great receiver. Okay, for years, I looked at buying Grundig before they went to Eaton, the 750, 800 series, expensive radios, expensive receivers. The 8600 is like the creme de la creme. If you're real serious about shortwave, if you're serious about picking up ham, if you're real serious about DX, that's the radio. That is absolutely the top radio to buy right now. Brand new in the market, the Icom R8600. All right. We had a question that came in from the show. Before we get to that, I would like to say some welcomes because I am truly honored to say hello to Greg, Kilo Fox Zero, Charlie Union Zulu. Greg is in Colorado, right? It's nice to see you, Greg. Thank you for coming. My goodness, Aaron, this is an honor. From Wales in the UK. Mike Whiskey 7, Oscar Foxtrot Sierra. Aaron, thank you for coming to Ham Radio Live today. Mate, I really do appreciate that very, very much. Lewis is back. Good to see you, my friend. Kilo 7, Alpha Golf. Lewis, great questions. Thanks for sending them to me. It's always a pleasure to get them and to respond to you. Thank you for that. And Aaron, thank you for coming. It's great to see you. Martin in the Netherlands. And this is for ham radio. I'm not going to put this on the screen yet. For ham radio operators, this is how you should feel about a transceiver and just stop buying them. Now, I buy a lot of transceivers and trade and do a lot of that for the show because the show is about ham radio and what each radio, transceiver, antenna tuners, antennas, various products for ham radio can do. But he's happy with the radio he's had for a long time. Listen, My Linko DX77 is going to be retired after many, many years, not for sale. But he's got an IC7300 on the way, a new learning curve for him. Now, this is big news from Martin because he always says growing old with my Alinco DX77. But notice what he says. He's not going to sell it. He's going to go to the Icom 7300. And the very best to you on that, Martin. It's a fantastic transceiver. For the money, you can't beat it. You just can't. Now, I love the FT991A because it gives you the HF, VHF, UHF thing. But man, for under $1,000 US, what you get from that 7300 is just a brilliant, brilliant transceiver. Also, want to welcome con number 4. Really, it is. I consider it that way. It's the Middle East. Tom is in Bahrain. Alpha Echo 1 Tango Papa Alpha 92 Golf Whiskey. A very, very special hello, Tom. Thank you. That's a long ways away. And it's very late. Gee whiz, it's the middle of the night for Tom. Tom, thanks for coming today. I hope you enjoyed the show. So I had a question from Kevin. Kevin's call sign, Kilo 6. Wow. Let's start this over. Cut 2. Kevin's call sign is Kilo 6 Yankee Bravo Tango. He's wanting to find out about how to put a rig on a sailboat. Now, I have always wanted to do this, and I had a great opportunity back in 2019. For those that remember, Joanne Socrates and her trip around the world in a sailboat, remember? And she literally stayed in contact with people all around the world as she made it back to Victoria. She is the single lady that has made it all the way around the world, solo on a sailboat. This is fascinating to me. So she was using an Icom 805, MA805. So that was what she used. And, she had her antenna set up like you would normally for a sailboat, which was like this, okay? Use your antenna wire. You go up, to where the sail is, and then basically you add a wire to the same area where the rope goes up to your sail. Okay, there is your HF antenna right there. Makes it brilliant. You have to have some way to ground it. There's a great company out of Seattle called C-Tech Systems. They have something called the KISS SSB ground plane. What this is really is, it's copper braid that you put on the hull of the boat. So it allows you to have proper grounding for everything. Put these two together, and then you need your radio, right? So let's take a look at one of the rigs that's made today from Maritime Mobile. So it's not only going to have the SSB bands, right? And you're not only going to be able to work FM or AM, but you're also going to be able to do HF, sideband, from your boat and make great calls. It's the Icom M803, and it's a brilliant transceiver. This thing not only will do, all the Maritime Mobile frequencies, it also will record the last 2 minutes of your transmission. It's 150 watts output. It also has a built-in GPS, of course. It has memory channels like crazy. Let's take a look at it and see what it's like to use it. This is the Icom M805.
Hello, this is Bob Smith from Icom Marine, and in front of us we have the
Icom 803,
ICM803 Marine MFHF transceiver. To switch the radio on, you press the on button down here. And it always takes a few seconds, and up comes the display as it initializes the radio.
Okay, so I'm going to start there. Now, you can see similarities here, right? You don't see the head. This is a control head only. The rest of the body is beside the radio, okay? So this is similar to the Icom 7100, but this is made for Maritime Mobile. Watch all this thing can do. I'm serious. I looked at it, I was like, dang, I want one of these in my shack. Watch this.
Alarm's going off because, as the message says there, the position is out of date. Pressing the bottom 4 buttons and we can stop that. On display here we have an icon flashing showing that it hasn't yet locked on to the GPS satellites. Once it's locked on, that icon will stay on permanently, but while it's flashing we're still looking for the position. There we are, it's stopped flashing now, we have our position. We're on channel 1, which is 2182. It says 2182 there, RX2182 TX. So this is a simplex channel. Again, it says simp to let us know this is a simplex channel, and we're on upper sideband. Over here we've got the position, we've got the volume currently turned right the way down and through because we haven't tuned the aerial tuner unit. So the antenna is bypassing the ATU. And if you just want to receive, listen around, then it's best to have through selected here. And squelch, because we've got the squelch on. So if we turn the volume up, get no noise out of the speaker because the squelch is on. Give that a few seconds and that will clear. You can see now the volume's come up there. To tune the aerial tuner unit, change to through, press tune. Tune flashes, and once tune is on, and we've now tuned. Volume control is control here, but the volume control does other functions as well, and you can push it in. So if you push the volume control in, it says volume. Push it again, you get the noise blanker. Push it again, you get the squelch level. Push again, RF gain, which is the receiver sensitivity. Push again, you get the backlight brightness. To change channel, you can change the channel knob in one channel steps, or you can actually go up and down. So we can either use the channel knob or we can use the up down buttons to change channel. Channel knob double function again, you can press it in and it now goes to what they call group, in which it will go up in 20 channel blocks. But keep turning it. You can go to the C2 channels where there is 31 8 megahertz ship-to-ship channels simplex.
See, so now you've got your Maritime ship-to-ship and you have your HF. You've got them separated on this rig. And what's beautiful, it's a touchscreen.
Turn it again, we get the C1 channels, which is 21 4 megahertz channels. Because if you press the knob in, we go back to selecting channels. So now it just goes around all those channels. Press it in again, we can go through.
Excuse me, I said touchscreen, not a touchscreen. You press the buttons at the bottom and you see above that, if you take a look above where, you know, the touch buttons are, the 4 at the bottom, those can scroll and change the way you work. Okay, it is fantastic. This transceiver is about $2,500, not available at a place like Gigaparts or DX Engineering or HOA. You're going to, sorry. Yeah, ham radio outlet. You're not going to find them there, but you're going to find them at marine supply stores. We'll take a little deeper look and then we'll cut this one short.
The groups. So programming to the radio is all the marine channels, 22, 18 megahertz, 16 megahertz, a range of channels programming to the radio. But here at Icom Marine, we reprogram the radio. So we go and put all the UK Coast Guards from channel 141 in. So there's Aberdeen, Coast Guard, Belfast, Falmouth, Humber, Shetland, Stornoway, Mallinhead, Valencia. So all the UK, Irish Coast Guards, Belgium, France. We put a range of Coast Guards in. We also reprogram the radio and put a number of broadcast stations. So channel 100 is BBC Radio 4, and it gives you the description BBC Radio 4. Channel 101, BBC Radio 5. And at 103, BBC World Service. So a number of BBC World Service frequencies programmed to the radio as well. We also put a number of yachts and net channels and ship-to-ship channels. So channel 9 takes you to 4149 kilohertz, which is a ship-to-ship channel. Channel 15 puts you onto 6230. Channel 17. So we have a range of ship-to-ship channels, yacht net channels. So channel 41. Fiji Net channel, Coconut channels, channel 40. Reprogram the Icom M803 with a range of useful channels used by yachtsmen. Along the bottom here we have a range of smart buttons. First one, compose the distress, compose other. But if you press the side button here, you can get some other options like emergency frequency, email, mode and scan. Pressing the emergency frequency puts the radio straight on to 2182. Press it again, releases it from 2182. Email, as well as being 160 channels, which, as I've said, we've programmed up with popular ship-to-chip channels, there's also 160 email channels. So there's channel 1. But what we found was from channel 99 to 160 was nothing was programmed into those channels. So what we've done is reprogram the radio so we get a range of weather fact stations. So from channel 100 upwards, that's the Japanese weather fact station, the US weather fact stations, Canadian weather fact stations, a range of weather fact stations programmed to the radio, RTTY, which is data from the German Met Office, and DDK, which is the German weather facts, and the UK weather fact station. There we are, broadcasting weather fact from the UK. So we put a range of weather fact stations, RTTY, NAVTEX frequencies into the radio, making use of those at channel 100 to 160 email channels. Let's say that's something we do here at Icom Marine. Press the email button, it goes back to the usual 1-to-1. Mode button changes the mode, so currently we're on upper sideband USB. Press mode, we've got AM for broadcast stations, LSB lower sideband, FSK frequency shift keying for data, CW constant wave Morse code, and back to upper sideband. Scans round 20 channels on the radio that the radio's on. So if you want to scan all the Coast Guard channels, we can go to channel 141, Aberdeen Coast Guard, and press scan. And now the radio will scan 141 to 160. When it gets to 160, it goes back to 141. So we're now scanning all the Coast Guard channels from 141 to 160. But it will do any 20 channels. So I could have put it on channel 100 and scan from channel 101, should I say, to 120. So just scanning around all the Coast Guard channels, as you can see.
There you go. So Icom Marine, want to thank them in the UK for a great video on the Icom M803. Again, a maritime mobile transceiver. You won't find it at your local, Walter Stanton or Gigaparts or Ham Radio Outlet. You're going to find it at a boat store, at a marine parts store. Fantastic transceiver. It is U.S. Coast Guard approved, by the way. It will work 160 to 10, not 6 meters. It'll go 150 watts out. Fantastic transceiver. And color screen, it's a beautiful rig. It really is. The price on it, right about $2,500 before tax. Icom 803 with the M as in Mike in front of it. That means it's mobile, maritime. Maritime, should say, not mobile, but maritime. It is so good to see you guys say. And by the way, grateful that our mate Sean is feeling better. His back much better today. Still having some issues sitting down. And I understand that, bro. Oh, I do understand that. But walking about is nice to do. Thanks for the support. Good. Keep on working on that, Sean. I'm praying for you, buddy. I hope you feel better. Back pain sucks. It's so bad. Because really, when you have sciatica, it goes down your back, your legs and everything. You're walking bad. It just looks awful. That's the way it goes. But we're still going to have a lot of fun with radios here. And we haven't forgotten the 464 over here, the CW reader and decoder. We're still going to work on that. But when I got Kevin's email, it was like, we've never done maritime mobile here. And it's easy. For an antenna, it's simple. It just goes right up your masthead. So not your masthead, but your mast, similar to your ropes. Perfect. You can set up your HF antenna right there. And you've got height, and you've got the advantage of that first bounce probably going over water. Man, if you're out there in the water, you can really make some calls. I know Joanne did some really amazing work on ham radio. In fact, the people in Australia, boy, they just really loved on her, because as she came around to Australia, her boat was in terrible shape. So the Australians got together and really helped take care of her, help her fix her boat up so she could make it back from Australia all the way up to Victoria, British Columbia. Wow. That's Joanne Socrates. That was back in 2019 when she did that. And she made thousands of QSOs on her trip around the world. Part of the fun you could have with ham radio. Take it on your boat. make phones, make calls, SSB, boat to boat, lots of things that you can do. Plus, you also have the Maritime mobile net, always on 20 meters at 14.300 megahertz. You'll find some Maritime mobile stuff if you like to listen to that. There you go. We're going to have a great close down. Remember, it's weird. For folks in the U.S., you don't understand close down. I didn't either at first. Let me explain. We always end the show with a TV sign-off, right? That's what we do. We just have fun with TV sign-offs. They're fast. They're something for broadcast history, right? Pretty much. So what we do is we do the sign-offs to close the show. And that's it. The show ends. We put maybe a sound effect at the end, and you'll hear it, and then we'll stop the stream. Well, today we've got a beautiful one from Israel. And I'm really excited because we've never done the country of Israel before. We've done dozens of countries, and I believe we've done all 5 continents for sure. So this is our first time at an Israeli sign-off, and I'm honored to do that. Our whole purpose, my friends, is to help you get into ham radio. It really is. Contact someone like the Japan Amateur Radio League. Just hit the Contact Us bar at www.jarl.org. Tell them you want to get into ham radio. Let them know you're interested. They'll find a radio club near you that you get in contact with, and they'll help you. You can take a look at their radio, maybe make calls with it. Perhaps you'll love it, and then they can help you study for your exam. Find them online at www.jarl.org. We do read our show email. That's how Kevin got this show today, because it was a brilliant idea. We've never done Maritime Mobile. Kevin, thank you again for that. His call sign, Kilo 6, Yankee Bravo Tango. So Kevin, thank you for that. We read our emails, and you may get a show out of it, like Kevin did today. Find me at cqhamradiolive@gmail.com. If you'd like to help the channel out financially, we can always use the help. Believe me. Hit me up at proverbs356@me.com on PayPal or on Patreon. Find us at Ham Radio Live. Until tomorrow at about 21 UTC. That's about as early as I think we can get you on. My name's Larry. My call sign is Kilo 7 Hotel November. I do this to help you. There's no monetization from beginning to end. Wherever you may be in this world. God bless you. Thank you for watching Ham Radio Live. Goodbye, my friends.
כאן נסתיימו שידורי הטלוויזיה הישראלית לערב זה. לילה טוב מירושלים.